There are companies like Fidelity and Capital One, when they're recruiting undergraduate students, they might have a particular pay grade that they bring you in at, and you might not have an opportunity to negotiate. But for those of you who aren't going to Fidelity or Capital One, and for those of you who aren't sure where you're going to end up, it's really important. I mean, we're talking about job offers and negotiations, but I think the most important thing for you is really trying to get a sense of what you're worth, and also what it's going to take for you to make on a yearly basis to make ends meet. So hopefully the two of you, even though your offers were non-negotiable, it was a really good offer, and it's going to help you financially to grow your career and also some of the personal goals you've set for yourself. So that's really what I want to talk to you all about today. Let's talk about budgeting. I think when I was putting this together, I tried to make sure that this captured just about everything that you would be spending on a monthly basis. And I put pet care in there because just recently, one of my cousins, her dog had to have surgery, and it really was not something that she could afford. I mean, it was very expensive. And any of you that have pets, you know, just keep in mind that that's something that you should really think about in terms of your budgeting. Okay, when you leave college, and I don't know what your personal circumstances are or your situations, but these are really things that you need to figure out what that's going to cost you on a monthly basis. If you're planning to stay here in Fort Worth or in Dallas, or if you're planning to go to New York or San Francisco, what is it going to cost you to live? Are you planning to buy a home? Are you planning to rent an apartment? You know, what are those living expenses? Because that's something that is not negotiable. So you have to know exactly how much you're going to be paying, because that's something that you're going to be responsible for every single month. Okay? And then also, I think included with housing would be your utilities as well. Food, obviously you want to have money for food set aside. Your automobile expenses, and I can tell any of you who live in Fort Worth and are going to be working in Dallas, making that commute, the wear and tear on your car is going to be very expensive. Very expensive, and I know that from personal experience. So you have to plan on that. Your medical expenses, you have to prepare for those. Okay? Nature of the work that you're doing. You know, what are you going to be, if you're going to Fidelity, what are you going to wear? You have to wear business suits. You're going to have to, you're going to have to make sure that you have money for clothing. Charity, are you going to put aside money for charity? Do you want to give back to the community? Savings, are you going to be saving for, for your retirement? Are you putting money away for a vacation, for travel? All of those things are very important. So again, when you start to think about what you're worth, you have to think about what you're spending. I mean, you have to know that. And those of you that already have a budget, I think that's great. Those of you that don't, really sit down and take some time to figure out, even now, your expenses as a student. Those are probably not too different from what you're going to be spending when you leave here, with the additional expenses of, the type of work that you do, where you're working, gas, and all of those things. Okay, so do not go into your job search without having an idea of this is what I need to make ends meet. And also, you've made a significant investment here at TCU. You've been here for 4 years. You've studied. You've given up a lot of your time and time away from your family. And now you want to see the return on that investment. And no one wants to leave college and go start a job and live paycheck to paycheck, because that will make you feel as though you've wasted time here, and you don't have to be in that situation. I know that there are several companies that won't negotiate, but there are several opportunities out there that you're definitely qualified for, but you have to have all of this research, and you have to have the numbers before you go into this process.